This was Tuesday, June 11th at about 2:15 or so in the morning. The little girl had had some, her tonsils and adenoids, and then I'll let Mom and Dad tell you what happened there.
Okay.
So my wife woke up, she was puking while coughing, she was in a coughing fit, and then afterwards she started to puke up blood. So they told us it was normal for the first time to do it, the second time isn't really all that normal, and she was puking up excesses of blood. So I told her to call 911, so she was on the phone with dispatch, and I was cleaning her up, and I picked her up to go set her on the couch, and dispatch was on speakerphone, so they said, well, just make sure she stays awake. So I go to pull her out to make sure she's awake from my shoulder, and she was blue. Her lips were blue, she wasn't breathing, so I don't know CPR, so I just kind of put her on the ground. And
That's when I went into our back room where our friends were sleeping. I told them that she was not breathing, she was blue, and they rushed into action and tilted her head back, and they started trying to do CPR on her. They were looking for a pulse, and as probably like 3-4 minutes passed by, it felt like that's when EMS finally arrived, and they stepped in, and they were phenomenal, and they were hooking her up to all these machines, trying to make sure she had a pulse, and it's kind of a blur, but they were phenomenal. We can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done for her. You know, if it wasn't for your guys' quick actions, she wouldn't be here. We thank you for that.
Can you say thank you?
While the medics, and this gentleman back here was the one that really helped get her breathing again. Helicopter was ordered, state police showed up, and they asked me about the landing zone and so forth. I suggested a spot. They told me that wasn't a viable spot because it had weak waist ties. They picked another spot. Fire chief from Elba became my ground contact, and as all this goes on, you can see that it is a team effort that makes everything work. Everybody had their own jobs to do. They all did it very well, and we were able to, we flew the child to Strong, and the best result is sitting right here.
Yes.
We have protocols that we follow when we go through EMDs, so sometimes the questions aren't necessarily what the caller thinks is relevant, but it gets us to our end result, which is either high priority, or our Mercy or our local ambulance is rushing there with lights and sirens, or it's not as severe. But I was just advising her of the directions on my screen. And that, turned into asking questions about her breathing. Obviously, I could hear parents in the background and other family members that were there. So going through those instructions, just kind of keeping Mom on task. That way we could get to what we needed to get to at the end, and that was getting Daisy taken care of as quickly as possible in the most efficient manner.
I put her on the ground real quick, and I tried to put some breaths into her, but like I said, I don't really know anything about that. I'm gonna take some classes, so.
Absolutely, definitely.
But,
if people have young kids, please take classes, because
Yes.
from a tonsil and adenoid surgery, like, this is what happened. And if I wasn't as quick to call 911, like, it could have turned out a so much worse situation than what it did. And it's something that everyone needs to take, because things happen and you just you aren't prepared for it, and being prepared for it is what is gonna, you know, potentially save a child's life, even if it's not your own. Like, if you're out somewhere, you can help. So it's definitely something the whole family is gonna be taking.
What was going through your mind as all this was going down?
Please God, don't take my baby.
Yeah. We the first thing that came to my mind was we can't go through another child funeral, because we have already lost our oldest daughter, and there was no way we could go through another funeral for one of our children again. So we were just praying to God that, you know, help her stay with us until she can get the proper help and care that she needed.
One thing in dispatch, we don't get to know the outcomes of a lot of the calls that we handle. Especially with a call that is just as fair as this, to follow up and know that it's a good outcome. That makes the job worthwhile.